Fantasy managers have been forced back to the drawing board following the news that Christoph Nkunku and also Gabriel Jesus could miss the beginning of the season following injury updates from their respective managers. Now, we will focus on Gabriel Jesus first. Arsenal ground out a 1-1 draw against AS Monaco at the Emirates on Wednesday, but the news post-match dominated the headlines as Mikel Arteta confirmed that Jesus had undergone a minor surgical procedure on the same knee that he picked up that injury in the World Cup at the beginning of the year. Now, that initial injury kept him out for around about 3 months, but thankfully, it doesn't look to be as serious as that initial problem. Indeed, Mikel Arteta said the expectation is that Jesus will be back in a few weeks. But what exactly does that mean? Now, there's a couple of positives that we can take from that. Firstly, he has had the operation, so they fully understand what was going wrong in the knee. Jesus himself was complaining of discomfort. There was problems. It was more of a minor niggling injury. Came through that match with Barcelona very well, but post-match further assessments revealed that it's best to make that decision now, get the knee cleaned out and tidied up, probably an arthroscopic debridement, just maybe trim a little bit of that cartilage, nothing too serious. And the reality of the situation is we could potentially see Gabriel Jesus back maybe in between 3 and possibly 6 weeks. What I would say with regards to that, and this is accelerated protocol sports specific training, we do have an international break at the beginning of September. So the reality is it could be that Mikel Arteta and Gabriel Jesus do focus on a potential return around about mid-September, which will be game week 5. For those worrying about Arsenal and their performances without their star striker, well, you only have to look back at that period of games without Gabriel Jesus, game week 17 to around about game week 29. That was a period of time where everybody expected Arsenal to tail off and their champion title push against Manchester City. But to the contrary, Arsenal actually improved in terms of their attacking outputs. They were first in terms of their number of shots and also goals actual scored, but there was a high over performance of their XG. So all is not lost. Indeed, it was Eddie Nketiah who got himself on the score sheet against Monaco. So the signs and the omens are good for him to be leading that front line. And also Florian Balogun, currently sidelined with a foot problem. He has been touted for a potential loan move away in the summer. That still stands in place. So with regards to the Gabriel Jesus setback, that's good news because, like I say, Balogun is going to still be going out on a potential loan move away. So the understanding within the club as it currently stands is it is very much a short-term injury. For Nkunku, we have heard from Mauricio Pochettino, but that was post-match comments. Of course, he remains hopeful that the problem isn't too serious, but further evaluations, probably over the next 24 to 48 hours, will reveal the extent of the problem. Concerns would be a repeat of that LCL, that lateral collateral knee ligament problem that kept him out of the World Cup, and that meant that he spent around about 3 months on the sideline. So hopefully it's nothing to that extent. We will obviously keep you up to date as further news is released and we have more developments with that story. But for now, it looks like it's good news for Arsenal in the grand scheme of things and maybe some worrying times for Chelsea.